Hey everyone, it's Sue here. It's been quite some time since I've done a weight loss video. I am 8.5 months status post or after the vertical sleeve gastrectomy. And my last video was at the end of May, so I haven't done a video in a long time. So I'm past due for an updated video. So let me start with my stats. I started the program to prepare for surgery in September of 2014, and at that time I weighed 305 pounds. When I went to surgery on March 30th of 2015, I weighed 250 pounds, so I lost 55 pounds before surgery. April 1st, when I left the hospital, I was 256, and today, December 14th of 2015, I am 183 pounds. So my weight loss since last September is 122 pounds, and since surgery 8.5 months ago is 73 pounds. So totally happy with that. My highest weight was 327 pounds. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. I tried doing this video a couple of times, so I'm not going to do it again. Sorry about that. So, anyways, 73 pounds in 8.5 months, and 122 pounds in 15 months. So, totally happy with that. My pant size back in September was a 28 plus, and I'm now wearing a size 10, which I'm very happy about. This is actually the first time that I've kind of plateaued. I'm teetering between 183 and 185, and I haven't plateaued before. I mean, it's been the last few weeks, and other than that, I've been steadily going down. But I'm okay with that. It's not an issue for me, because I like being the size that I am, a size 10. It feels really good. And I mean, I have a lot of excess body fat. I will do a video. I mean, you can see my arms, but I'll do a full body video at one of my next videos in the next couple of weeks. So I went to see the nutritionist for a follow-up, 6-month follow-up. It was actually 7 months, but sorry about that. Was discussing some of my issues and some of the things that I felt that the program lacked. And one of the things that I felt was a problem was that they had a psychiatric evaluation, which was the biggest joke. You sat at a computer and you answered like 200 some odd questions, and probably there was only 50 or 60 questions, and the rest of them were just repeated throughout the whole thing, maybe in different words. And it was yes or no, basically you just answer them, and anybody can answer no, I would never do that. Oh yes, that's what I do. It was ridiculous. And then the psychiatrist went over the test, called you back in a week or so, and you said, okay, you're good to go, and that was the end of it. So it just didn't make any sense. There was no pre-counseling or anything like that. And I mean, I was already in therapy before, but I was, having lost 55 pounds prior to surgery, I was so ready for this. I was mentally ready. My knee needed to be replaced. I was ready for this. I was hoping to postpone my knee surgery. It was nothing stopping me. So before I actually go on, I'm going to end up repeating myself. I saw the nutritionist, and I discussed a lot of things with her, and she asked if I would speak at an upcoming meeting. And I said, sure. Usually they have the graduates, which are people more than a year out from surgery, a year and a half to 2 years out from surgery. And so me being 8.5 months out, that's exactly what I was asking for, was for someone to come in and speak who was, a month out from surgery, 2 months out from surgery, and things like that. And so I was ecstatic. They asked me to speak, and I wrote down a speech. I didn't say it all because I got up there and kind of just talked off the cuff. I had the speech to say, I had someone videotape me, but the video is so awful. The person was going up and down with the camera. I don't know what she was doing, and you couldn't hardly hear me. So I'm basically going to read what I wanted to say, and it's basically what I want to say to you guys. This is how I started my speech. I said, I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy 8.5 months ago. I started the program in September of 2014 with my first introductory meeting. At that time, I was in severe pain from knee arthritis and was told I had to have my left knee replaced because of it was bone on bone. In August 2011, when I was probably pretty close to my highest weight, I had my right knee replaced. I was 50 years old. I do have pretty significant arthritis throughout my body, my hands, my back, my knees. At the time of surgery, the left knee was okay. After surgery, I was favoring my right knee and putting a lot of stress on my left knee. 3 years later, I was told that my left knee was basically totally shot and it would need to be replaced. When I had the right knee replaced, one doctor told me he would not do the surgery because of my weight. I found a doctor who would do the surgery because I was in severe pain. My goal was to get the right knee done, and I would feel so much better. I would finally lose the weight I needed to lose because the pain would be gone. I was wrong. First, because the pain wasn't gone, and second, because I wasn't ready mentally to have the surgery. My pain continued to get significantly worse, and the orthopedic doctor I now have refused to do surgery because of my weight. I totally respect this doctor and understand that she was right because I don't feel that my right knee was any better since surgery. I went through many emotions at that time, anger, frustration, sadness, that I had let things get out of control. That was in August of 2014. It was at that point that I decided I was going to finally change my life. I signed up for the first introductory meeting here. I came to the meeting in a mobility chair because at that point I couldn't walk for any distance at all without excruciating pain. I had a note from the doctor that I needed to have surgery as soon as possible, and I didn't want to have to go through the whole program. I wanted special treatment. I wanted surgery right then. When I presented this, I was told there was no way that could be done. I had to go through the program. I was also told I wasn't unlike anyone else in the room, and I thought, I don't see anyone else in a mobility chair who can't walk. I am not like everyone else in this room. I had no choice. I had to go through the program like everyone else. As I went to each meeting, I realized I wasn't unlike anyone else in the room. I have no idea what they have been through and what they were going through. We were all there for the same reason. We had to lose weight. For whatever reason, we all had to lose weight. The significance for me was, yes, I had to lose the weight in order to have my knee replaced, but more important, this time I wanted to lose the weight. I was motivated. I have been overweight for nearly 30 years, significantly overweight, actually morbidly obese. The reality finally hit. I was morbidly obese, and I was going to do something about it. From that point on, I immediately changed my eating habits. I basically went on the modified stage 2 diet provided. I stopped eating bread, pasta, rice, cereal, and other carbs. I cut my portions and followed the diet rather closely. Fortunately, I had a partner in this, my husband, who is also morbidly obese. We did this together. Unfortunately, he could not have the surgery because his insurance at that time didn't pay for it. We both lost over 50 pounds prior to surgery, my surgery date of March 30th, 2015. Many people asked me why I was having the surgery at all. I had done so well, 50 plus pound weight loss in 6 months. I contemplated long and hard about what I should do, and I knew that the surgery was the right thing for me. I knew that I would not keep the weight off unless I had the surgery. I knew that I would easily go back to my old habits a little at a time. I needed this tool to help me. My husband has since put on most of the weight he had lost because he truly was not mentally ready. One of my daughters, who is also overweight, said to me, "You would think that being disgusted with the way you look would be enough to motivate you to lose the weight." And for some people, maybe that's true. Most of us are overweight for a reason, not necessarily because of medical reasons. We have a food addiction. We use food to compensate for other things like depression, bad relationships, stressful situations. We use food as comfort. It's much easier to eat than it is to deal with the issues because it hurts to deal with the issues. When I started this program, I was ready. Mentally, I was there. I was at the point where I said, enough, I'm going to do this. Hence the reason I lost over 50 pounds prior to surgery. I thought, I had this. Surgery and post-surgery was going to be a breeze for me. I had already made significant changes in my eating habits for 6 months prior to surgery. I had this. It was going to be a breeze. The surgery was a tool, and I knew that. What I didn't know was everything else that was going to happen after surgery. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I had the surgery and had no complications. I had the surgery later in the day, so by the time I got to my room, it was evening, and I just wanted to sleep. The next day, when everything started for me. I tried drinking some water, and first it didn't taste good. Second, it hurt to go down. A tiny sip made my stomach feel awful. The first day after surgery, I don't even think I drank 8 ounces of water. I was depressed because I was not taking my antidepressant medication, my restless leg pills, and other medications to help me sleep and for my mood. When the doctor came in that evening, he saw what I had drank, and he said, "You just bought yourself another day in the hospital." Well, there was no way I was staying in the hospital an extra day. I said, "So what do I need to do?" He said, "Drink. Every minute, take a sip." So my daughter was with me, and I just couldn't stand the taste of plain water, so she went to Dunkin' Donuts and got me a decaf tea and poured it over ice. She sat there, and about every minute she said, "Mom, take another drink." The first sips were not fun. My stomach hurt, and I didn't want to do it. She wouldn't let up, fortunately. I continued to take sips about every minute, and then after a short time, the sips went from about a teaspoon to a little more, and it got much easier. I was never able to take more than sips, but before you know it, I started lining the cups up I had drank. I did it. I was persistent. I wasn't going to stay in that hospital any longer than absolutely necessary. So I was discharged on the 3rd day, Wednesday, because I had made the progress necessary. I continued the same at home. I was tired when I got home, and it took me about a week to build up my strength. I started back on my protein shakes and a little bit of cream of wheat or cream of rice cereal. And by the way, that stuff is nasty. I found that if you use the sugar-free syrups, like the stuff they use in the coffee shops, the sugar-free flavorings, like brown sugar cinnamon, boy, did that make the cream of wheat taste really good. So I was only able to eat a teaspoon or two for quite some time, but I persisted. It took me 8 weeks before I could progress to the next level. I couldn't wait to add new foods to my diet, but it was difficult. I didn't tolerate a lot of things, or should I say, a lot of things made me feel sick to my stomach. I got through it, though. I got a tip from someone who had surgery a couple years before, and this is something I wish I had done from the beginning before my surgery. I did use smaller plates from the beginning, but she suggested using toddler spoons and forks because you can't put as much food on that size spoon or fork, and I still use those now. The other thing I learned was that the longer I waited between bites, the easier it was for me. It's so hard to get out of a habit of shoveling food. I have an hourglass timer from a game that I use. It's a minute timer, and I take a bite and flip the timer over and wait until it's empty before I take the next bite. It's a long time to wait, but at about 6 months after surgery, I finally was able to realize how much this helped me. If I ate too fast, I would get severe heartburn and feel like the food was getting stuck, and sometimes even throw up because the food just wouldn't go down. I mean, it was awful. For me, there was no way I could drink anything before, during, or after I ate. That's a hard thing to do, and I'm still getting used to that. the first thing you want to do is have a sip of water because you think that it will help the food go down. It doesn't. I have done that and just thrown up the water. The minute timer that I use in between bites allows me to stop and think about how my stomach feels. It's always that one last bite that you say, yeah, I'm feeling kind of full, but I can take that last bite, and then you realize, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I take time to pay attention to how my stomach feels in between bites, and when my stomach starts to feel full, I wait longer than a minute. Is that enough? And it usually is. If I continue to have that full feeling for more than 2 minutes, I know that I've had enough. I no longer let myself get to I kind of feel full, so it's okay to take one more bite. I have food left on, if I have food left on my plate, I wrap it up, and if I feel hungry in an hour or so, I will heat it up and eat more. And I don't let myself take that last bite that will put me over the edge. So enough about eating. Now I want to talk about something more important. I said in the beginning, I was mentally ready. I had this because I had done so well prior to surgery. Well, I have kept that determination, and I am not going back to where I was. I have made the decision not to add carbs back into my diet. I will not go back to eating bread, pasta, rice, cereal, etc. I've been this long without them, and I don't need them. Now, real issues. The reason why I became overweight. The reasons why I was eating. The mental issues. And I was drowning with food. Because I am so determined I am not going to turn to food for comfort, I'm left with all these things I have to face, some difficult things. I used to let food control me, and I no longer let food control me. I control the food, and I'm very, very aware of what I eat and why I eat. Hence the reason for the minute timer. I am very conscious of how my body feels. So, the biggest issue is how to deal with those things that made me want to eat before, so I won't have to deal with those things. Well, for me, unfortunately, I found other things to make myself feel good that was not food. Because again, I had the determination that I'm not going to go back. I have come this far and worked so hard to get where I am. This is a new way of life, and it will be for my life. So, when you are determined like I am, and all the issues start coming up, and you say, I'm not going to eat to drown this out, what else do you do? This is reality. Some people find other things that comfort them. It's great not to turn to food, and I highly recommend that you be very, very aware of this, and you don't go back to using food as your comfort. However, also be aware of what you are doing to replace the food. Some people turn to alcohol and drugs. Some people turn to other things. Fortunately for me, alcohol and drugs are not the thing, but shopping is. I realized I was using material things to make me feel better. Online shopping. I have a credit card, and my husband works, and he never knew how many packages I would get in the mail. Just like with food in the past, I was hiding it. I work with my therapist once a week, and she is helping me deal with the issues, talk about the things that bother me, and is helping me find other ways to cope rather than shopping and spending more money than I can pay back. These are real issues that people have with losing a significant amount of weight. If you can just remember this after surgery, if you have any history of depression in your past that you used to use food to deal with, you are going to have to find something other than food to replace that with. But there are lots of other things that you can do than to be compulsive. Always be aware. Keep it in your mind. Listen to your body. Talk to a therapist. to have your to help you through this. I always thought I could just lose the weight. If I could just lose the weight, I would be so happy. Well, for me, I'm totally happy I lost the weight, but I'm not totally happy with my life, and I have to deal with that. I have to deal with the things that I ate my way through in the past. Stay strong, be determined, reach out for help. Then I say that I have a YouTube channel. For me, surgery is the best thing I have ever done. But be aware, a big part of this journey is your state of mind. I needed more than the psych evaluation that I was required to do prior to surgery. I would like to even have been required to see a psychologist who specializes in this for several visits prior to surgery and after surgery. Fortunately for me, I was seeing the psychologist before and after surgery. However, I didn't address the issues until fairly recently. I was hiding them, not with food, but with shopping. Now I'm dealing with them. Lastly, don't have the surgery because you have to have the surgery. Have it because you want to and you're ready to make a change. So basically, that's what I had to say. I didn't say it all because they kind of cut me off because I was talking too long and I wasn't following script. And, I kind of realized I should have focused less on, my knee and all that stuff and more on other things. But that's okay. I had a lot of questions after. They had extra time. There was someone else who spoke and they had extra time, and so we were both able to answer some questions. She was 2 years out, the other woman that spoke, and she lost 150 pounds, and so she had the full bypass. So, what I want to discuss and convey is that the big thing is that the weight loss comes with a lot of, if you have a history of, depression or things like that, it's very common that we use food to, we eat our way through things so that we don't have to deal with them because it's too hard. And now we have to deal with them. I spoke to someone and I asked, you having psychological issues? And they said no, as they were eating munchies and eating and eating and eating and eating. No, I don't deal with anything. I'm fine. I'm good. And, they've put on weight and, it's just not a good thing. And I was talking to the nutritionist and she said that the percentages, in the first year that you lose, I don't know, like something like 70% of your excess body weight. And then, the second to the third year, it might go down a little bit. Years 3 to 5 after surgery, it can be in the 20 to 30% range, which means that you've put on that much more weight. You've put on 40%, 30 to 40% of that excess body weight. I'm determined that's not going to happen to me. I'm not turning to food for dealing with my issues anymore. So, I want to vlog a little more and kind of discuss things and have people ask questions. If you have any questions, if you're pre-surgery or if you're after surgery and, you have questions, I want us to get something going, some kind of dialogue going and stuff where I can answer questions based on my experiences, and maybe be a help to some people. It's too easy to turn to the food. It's too easy to go back and, well, yeah, I'll just eat this bad thing and a little bit of it won't be too bad. And, before you know it, you're eating more and more bad things, and you're overeating, and your stomach is stretching, and you've put on most of the weight again. And I don't want to see that happen. I just don't. There's ways to deal with things and to get through the issues without eating. We don't need the food. So, you know, those are my techniques. The minute timer helps me tremendously, and it may seem like it takes forever to eat, and it does, but that's okay, because, you know, you're eating slower, you're chewing, and that's what the other girl recommended. Chew, 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 chew. Chew your food. And, you know, do this because you want to do this, because you're mentally ready, not just because your doctor says you have to for a medical reason, or you have to for whatever reason. You know, you have to. You have to want to. It has to come from within you. You have to be mentally ready to do this. And you can be. You can get yourself to that point. You can be. But, you know, it took me a long time to get to that point. But when I was ready, I was ready. But like I said, I wasn't truly ready. And you can never be truly ready, because you never know how it's going to affect you. It may not affect everyone the same way it affected me. It affects a lot of people this way, but not everyone. So just be aware. And feel free to ask me any questions. I'm going to try to vlog more often on this channel. And, you know, again, maybe we can start some dialogue, some question and answer things, or whatever, or, you know, just comments, you know, about what you feel, how you feel about what I've said, and, you know, your experiences to help me also. So, you know, I want this to be a community where we help each other, and, you know, that where we don't use the food anymore as our crutch. We can't do that, you know. We also shouldn't be shopping compulsively either. Or anything else compulsively. Impulsively, compulsively, impulsively. Bad thing. So, anyways, I want to thank you all for listening. If you've stayed with me through the whole thing, sorry that I had to just read that, but I just wanted to get everything out that I had to say, and I hadn't written it all down. So the next videos will be more impromptu, and again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Thanks, bye.